Hello and welcome. I'm State Representative Mario Scavello. You know, many times in my times here in Harrisburg, I always tend to pretty much celebrate the local artists that we have in our community, local authors. And what an opportunity I have here today to really meet with two local authors. And one is Karen Elise Warmack, and her book is The Adventures of Prissy and Missy, A Sleepwalk Affair. And the other is Patrick Malcolm and The Limit, and is When You Say Stop. I'm going to start with you because Patrick, I looked at your book and very motivational. Am I correct?
Yes, sir, it is. Actually, this book, as you can see on the cover, it has the wheels and it has the gauges. These gauges are operating in basically the red zones. You're going too fast, the ego gauge is on full, and the control gauge is in the red. The limit is when you say stop, puts you in the driver's seat. When I was writing this book, and when I thought about designing the cover, I decided never to put like a female or a male hand on the wheel, because I never wanted someone to see it. Oh, that book is for women. The book is for men.
Good point.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this title, like it says, the limit is when you say stop, helps you to understand that every choice you make in life, you are in charge of that choice. And the moment you decide to make that choice, you already accept the consequences. It's not the color of your skin. It's not your race. It's not your neighborhood. It's not your mother, your father. It's you. The choice that you make, you have to live with it.
Impressive, really impressive. Karen?
Yes.
A pleasure to have you. I know we've been trying to get this together for a while. I've looked at your book, and for kids and to see it, I'd love to see it in all the libraries within Monroe County. Tell us about your book and what inspired you to write the book.
Well, absolutely. Well, Representative Scavello, first I'd like to thank you for having me here, and it's just a privilege and an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
For allowing me to share The Adventures of Prissy and Missy, Sleepwalk Affair. This is my first title in a series of 10 exciting stories written for girls and boys all over the world of various ages. Prissy and Missy are multicultural cat twins, and their lives are filled with love, curiosity, day-to-day adventurous experiences, problem solving, and forgiveness. And every book is written in exciting poetic verse with original hand-drawn illustrations. And another feature that parents, guardians, teachers, librarians really love about this work is that there's a glossary in the back. There's a glossary in every Prissy and Missy adventure, and this is the first title that we've published.
Wow. Let's open it up and just show a couple of the, first the owner who belongs to, but let's look at a couple of the pages, and there you go.
Okay.
Prissy and Missy were the best of friends. Prissy and Missy were a set of twins. They were two of the sweetest sisters who got along ever since the day they were born. That's what we should be teaching kids. You know what I'm saying? I think you really, you hit it right there. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, if I wanted to get a hold of this book and buy this book, where could we find it?
Well, we have an exciting website. It's www.prissyandmissy.com, where our listeners could purchase the book. They can also listen to 7 of the stories spoken word, because there are 10 completed stories. This is the first that has been published. We are working on also the next book. So many of our readers are anticipating the second title, which is The Adventures of Prissy and Missy Travel Abroad. That's really exciting. And there are 7 of the stories uploaded online, but the work can also be found at Amazon.com, and we're working on distributorship through Barnes & Nobles, Ingram, etc. out of, we'll be working with Atlas Books, Bookmasters, and they're going to be distributing the work for us this coming fall. It's really exciting.
Wow. I was going to ask you, what were the challenges of getting involved with the publishing, but I think you've got it together. What challenges did you go through?
Representative Scavello, I really had to give myself an education in publishing.
Yeah.
This work is not self-published, but I did create an independent book publishing company, which is House of the Gilded Scribe, LLC. And with House of the Gilded Scribe, being an independent publisher, we own 100% of the rights to everything, which includes the ISBN number, very important for a quote-unquote real book to have, as well as the stunning artwork and naturally the story. So so in giving myself an education, it's been really wonderful. I've met so many people, and I have overcome many challenges via the internet, learning and growing.
Wow. So protecting yourself, I guess, with your publishing thing, this could end up in TV. Who knows, right? That you could. I envision maybe a cartoon or something like that, because it's educational for kids, and you're teaching good things. You're not showing, the violence. Let's show another couple of pages. Yeah.
This particular story is about Missy. Yes, it's about sleepwalking, and it's about Missy keeping a secret. And her secret has to do with a black lab puppy that she found that has chewed up her sister's black patent leather shoes. It's all written in exciting poetic verse. But nevertheless, she's sleepwalking because she is suppressing the thought of what happened.
Yeah.
And she really wants her sister to know, but she's afraid to tell her. Nevertheless, they decide to visit a doctor, and Missy says, okay, we'll go, but must be sure he's not a quack. I'm not a doctor's guinea pig. He better know his facts. And on the following page, they get introduced to Dr. Halitosis, who earned his degree from the University of Osmosis. He doesn't practice hocus pocus, but he puts Missy under hypnosis. And there are many child psychologists that agree that hypnotherapy for children is a non-medicinal avenue to help cure whatever may be ailing them. And it has a wonderful happy ending.
Don't tell the ending.
Okay, I won't.
We don't want the ending. We want people to go out and reach out and buy the book. I think it's a great book. I wish you the very best, and I'm excited to hear that a series of how many more? We're going to have another
nine more following.
So
they're completed.
10 books. Gosh, beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's go back to you, because what inspired you first to write this, and if you don't mind, explain that, because I see here so many, you've written some reflections here that honestly, it's an education in itself.
Thank you, President Scavello. See, I was born in Jamaica, and my father died when I was 4 months old. When I was age 5, I realized that I was like, I was the child that nobody really wanted. I knew it at age 5. And I just couldn't wait until I was at a good, age like, say, 12, 13 before I could start working. However, I started working at 10. At age 10, I had a full-time job working in a brick oven bakery, in Jamaica. And my job was basically, as soon as the platters came down with the baked bread, I would flip them over, scrape them, and dip the brush into the grease, put more grease on it, pass it down so they could put fresh dough on it. And I would make $25 per week. Yes. And with that in mind, I started from a very early age realizing that even though you come from a bad situation, the things that I learned at that time that I thought was bad, actually when I got older and I start realizing certain things, those were the training days. Those things were my father. Yeah, that's my father that I never had. So when I came to America and I started high school in America, of course I was a misfit because I never looked like the other kids. I never knew about the fashion, because coming from my situation, I could not afford, the different, Air Jordans and whatever.
You're doing pretty good, Patrick. I want you to know right now.
Well, the limit is when you say stop. So what happened was, I went through a lot of stuff in high school, but I started getting, the hang of things, like in my junior year. And then I started realizing that a lot of guys that I went to school with, they had all the fancy stuff, Some of them end up going to jail while I was in school, and I started realizing some of these guys was doing things that weren't right, And then, gradually things started explaining themselves to me, and it's like God, I would say God blessed me with the gift of discernment, where I could foresee certain things. I could understand certain things, because I do believe in the scriptures, and He tells you that when your mother or father forsake you, I will pick you up and show you the way, and He did. So I move on from high school, college to becoming an actor. I was on the HBO series Oz for about 4 years with a recurring role. Yes, that's what I did. I also do stunts for movies. That's something that I've been doing for over 12, 13 years, and being in the business now with the rich folks and the celebrities and coming from poverty, I start seeing that, wow, it's not much of a difference. The only thing that's different is the fact that some people had a lot of money and a lot of material items. But the core of everything is, how do you feel about yourself? What are you struggling with?
Yeah.
And I've worked on projects where in the process of shooting, the star died. He committed suicide. I was like, wow, you have like these mansions, these cars, this money, this fame. You still kill yourself. Why? Because there was something that was hurting you that no one knew about, but you knew about it and you could not live with it. So then I wanted to reach out to people, okay? And I could not just talk to one person, because I feel like, wow, I have so much to say and it's just one person. I said, you know what, let me write a book. And I wrote The Limit Is When You Say Stop. And this is a book that it deals with the 31 things that affects us as human beings in our daily lives. And these things, some of the things are like forgiveness, like letting go, understanding that you are not your mistakes, saying thank you. Thank you is like something that not many people want to say because, yes, sir, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to just stop you because you said, and letting go, and I tell you, because I tell this to folks all the time, when we're children and we have an argument, it's over in the next day, but adults don't let it go as easy. Do you know?
Well, I'm going to explain something to you here. It is true because, see, as adults, we become very territorial when dealing with younger people, especially. And especially, I mean, it's a thing where we figure, hey, we are older, we know more in some cases. Sometimes it's, I'm old enough, you can't tell me what to do. So it's like, either way you swing it, some people just don't understand that. But I always tell people, when I do my motivational speaking, I normally tell them, life is a factor of two extremities, being alive and being dead. Whatever you do in the middle, it's called your legacy. What is your legacy? What legacy are you creating? How do you want to be known when you leave here? Because I don't care the size of your home. I don't care about how much your car cost. You're going to leave it. You can't take it with you. So while you're here, the best thing you can do is just share love. Help someone to feel better about themselves. Like I said before, I believe in the scriptures. And I believe that when you die, you should try to get a star in your crown when you meet Jesus. So I live my life doing my part. My part is writing this book and putting out something positive. So other people can take what's in this book and share it with the people that comes in their life.
Patrick, if I wanted to get your book, what would I do? How could I?
This book is also available at Amazon.com. BarnesandNobles.com. And right now I'm working with a couple of distributors to get the book out. But like Karen said before, this has to be your passion. Let's just put it that way. It has to be your passion because you face so many obstacles, but the best part about facing obstacles is that once you accomplish it, it's the best feeling in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Me being here in your presence is the limit, in effect.
Oh,
Think
gosh.
about it.
Oh, no.
Think about it. Think about it.
You guys are impressing me big time. I read this. I recommend it. I look through this and I'm reading. I say, wow.
Thank you so much.
Because it really helps you focus on a daily basis. And you said earlier that when you make that decision, you've taken responsibility.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
And to me, that's so important. And you'd hope that young folks out there realize that. Don't get taken by the group and you have to go along with the group. Make that decision, make the right decision because you're taking that responsibility.
Exactly. And it's one more thing I would like to mention. And when I saw this the other day, I said to myself, this book here has got to be the work of God in my life. You remember in Atlanta, they had the attempted school shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this gunman entered the school, okay? And he was approached by the clerk. She never had a gun. All she had was just the words from her mouth. In my book, one of my days are a word. A word is like water. It can either give life or take life.
God bless.
And I tell you this, brother, when I heard that this lady approached this gunman and spoke to him and shared her past experience with this young man and basically broke him down, this is what's missing from society.
God bless.
Technology has been one of the greatest things that ever
Yeah.
happened to us, but it also takes away from the face-to-face communication.
God
We
bless.
need to go back to that kind of
God
stuff.
bless.
That's
Patrick,
what we need to do.
thank you so much for joining me. And I want you to know that I started shining shoes at 9 years old in the Bronx.
Wow.
In front of Yankee Stadium. So,
wow, you got
so I beat you by a year.
By 1 year,
But it seems like you were doing a little bit more difficult work working with those pens and all. So
Yes, yes.
I got to ask you, and Karen, I know when you deal with children's books, it's such a competitive market out there. How do you work through that?
You're absolutely right, Representative Scavello. The children's book market is competitive. And I'd like to say that one of the best avenues for me to get the girls exposure has been through ShopRite grocery stores. I would like for you to know that.
Wow.
And I really have, our company has a lot of love for Kinsley's ShopRite out in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. The Kinsley family have been so wonderful because it is a form of community service, and it's a way to get Prissy and Missy in the hands of girls and boys in our area. But also Village ShopRite out of Stroudsburg as well as New Jersey, and Village ShopRite also has stores in Maryland. They've been instrumental in helping us stay above the competition by allowing me to come in as a person for their community service event. And I get to read The Adventures of Prissy and Missy to their esteemed customers. And if they'd like to take home an autographed copy, they certainly can do so.
That's great.
And ShopRite also supports a charity called Partners in Caring, of which House of the Gilded Scribe, my company, has partnered with ShopRite to help this.
Have you been in Bill's ShopRite up in Manpower?
Yes, I have, and I want to mention Bill's ShopRite also because Prissy and Missy got their first start in book signings with Bill's ShopRite out of Mount Pocono and Daleville, and we owe these ShopRite grocery stores a debt of gratitude.
Very dedicated to the community.
Absolutely. So the competition during the book signings, Representative Scavello, many people have books in their mind that they haven't gotten out in manuscript form yet. And they see me there and they think it's very inspirational and encouraging. They say, wow, isn't it competitive? You know, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I share pearls of wisdom with them. But one of the finer points that people must understand, including myself, is believing, just like Patrick said, believing that you have something valuable to share with the world. And the rewards also are very great after it has been manifested on the physical plane. So I have believed in this work, and I'm believing it to stellar success.
God bless both of you. God bless both of you. Karen, The Adventures of Prissy and Missy, Sleepwalk Affair, and Patrick, the limit is when you say stop.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I wish you both the very best. And maybe we could do this again in another year or so and see how you're doing, and following up with yours and with your book, which your other 9 titles.
That would be wonderful.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
You've been watching Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Mario Scavello. We'll return in a moment.
Did you know that Violet Oakley was the first female artist to receive a large commission for artwork done in a United States Capitol building? In 1902, Joseph Houston, designer and architect for the 3rd Harrisburg Capitol building, commissioned Violet Oakley to paint murals for the governor's reception room. He believed that Oakley's contribution would add interest to the building and act as an encouragement of women of the state. Prior to beginning her work for the Capitol, Oakley set out to England to conduct research for her murals. Upon return, she decided to center her artwork on William Penn and the founding of Pennsylvania. Oakley made sure that Penn's ideals of justice and peace could be seen throughout her work. In 1906, she completed 13 murals titled The Founding of the State of Liberty Spiritual, and was placed in sequential order around the governor's reception room. These murals were some of the first to be installed in the Capitol. When Edwin Austin Abbey, another artist for the Capitol, died in 1911, Oakley was offered another opportunity to create murals for the unfinished Senate and Supreme Court chambers. Her work on the Senate murals, including International Understanding, was completed by 1919. Oakley then completed the Supreme Court murals, including the Divine Law, by 1927. Oakley is said to be the principal artist for the Capitol, with a total of 43 murals on display. She remains one of the greatest muralists in the United States. Now you know.
Welcome back to Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Mario Scavello. Earlier in the show, we talked about two entrepreneurs, two writers, and what they're doing for employment, but talented people. And now we're gonna change and go on an opposite direction. My guest is Nitsa Desire, and she's from the branch manager of Manpower here in Monroe County. And Nitsa, you do a completely different thing. You help people get jobs. And tell me about Manpower.
Great. Well, first, thank you, Mario, for inviting us to the show. We are pleased to be here. Manpower is a national workforce development, and our job is putting people to work. We're in Tannersville, Pennsylvania, very close to you now. Welcome to the community.
I moved closer to you.
You moved closer. We have national offices around the globe. Manpower has 4,000 offices in 80 countries, so we're a global registry. But our associates have the luxury of registering with us right online from home. So they go to manpowerjobs.com, they create a profile, they update their account, they put in their resume, and then they're connected to the Manpower world. That way they're able to see what the Scranton office may have available, Allentown, Easton, Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, or they just want to see what's in Tannersville. Obviously, it's always a great idea to visit the offices directly. We like to make that face-to-face connection. But going online and registering and creating your account, you're able to see what's available. So you don't have to leave your house, spend gas. You just go online and see what's available, and then you could see the opportunities. You submit your resume. You say, I want to apply for this job, and we go forth from there.
Do you help them with their resumes if they came to you? Like, for example, maybe, because sometimes I'm especially folks that have been working with one particular field for so many years. Am I right?
Absolutely. We help them. They go on the tool and they're able to put a resume together. But all the job boards are doing the same thing. You go on Microsoft Word, you're able to open up a template, put it together. And my pals over at CareerLink, I'm always sending folks there because if someone has not interviewed for a while, they need a little help.
They need coaching.
They need coaching. They need to put that resume together. And it's not the traditional resume that we did back in the day. Now you have to put a little bit more. You have to put your skills, your qualifications, what is your objective, and just make it attractive so that you have 6 seconds from that employer when they look at your resume. If you're not taking their attention and you're not capturing their attention, they're going to move to the next resume.
Yeah. Have you found that folks that have been on unemployment for a long period of time, when they try to transition back into the workforce, it is not as easy to find a job by an employer? Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct. And today we're saying to employees to reinvent themselves. Okay, what did you want to do when you grew up, right? What I want to do when I grow up? I end up being a nurse, but I really wanted to be a secretary. I really wanted to be a medical biller. Well, now's your opportunity to go back to school. Their jobs may not be available immediately. However, you are able to say, what can I add to my profile? What can I add to my experience? And what else can I do? Because we all have talent. We just have to figure out, do we want to do that?
Yeah, I had somebody walk into my office on numerous occasions, and they would say, I've been on unemployment for 2.5 years, and I says, you're going to have trouble finding a job. I says, you're going to have to, like you just said, you're going to have to reinvent yourself. You might have to, get some part-time jobs to create a resume and to get back into that workforce, because that space there is going to have employers really looking at you and saying, maybe you're not the right person. You've got to be able to convince them that, hey, I really was trying to get a job, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
And we understand that you were an accountant and now you don't have any work. Yeah. However, can you volunteer at the hospital? Can you do something else to fill that gap? Can you volunteer at the local school? Keep yourself in the game so that you don't miss out on the knowledge.
That is great. Nitsa, that what you just said right there. If you're on unemployment, get yourselves involved in something in the community.
Absolutely.
Because at least that can stay on that resume. Say, look, but I didn't stay home. I was out there helping at the hospital, wherever else. That's excellent. That is an excellent tip, because I can tell you that many folks haven't done that, and it's hurting them.
I just helped my neighbor in the community, and that's all he does, finance. And I said, we need someone on our board at my community. And he's on the board doing financial stuff, but he's not getting paid for it. However, someone will recognize that. But most importantly, he's networking locally. And that's, when you're trying to transition from wherever you came from and landed in the Poconos, networking locally is the key as well. So you have to invest the time.
Yeah, I know that I'm gonna ask this, but it's numerous different jobs for different fields. You do it all, correct?
Absolutely.
There's nothing that and from your positions that you can put something in, it could turn out to be a full-time. It could be a temporary initially, but it's up to that employee to, when you go into that job, say, hey, you got to stand out. And if you do, guess what? You might just I've seen that at Sanofi, for example, where when you got hired at Sanofi as a temporary maybe, but you end up a full-time position because of yourself, because of what you're able to do.
And what we say to the associate is, we open the door. The rest is up to you. Here's an opportunity. It's a 3-month assignment, and you have to wow the employer and show them, because if you really put your best foot forward and you are that talent that you say you are on paper, they will find a spot for you.
Exactly right.
Now, if you start showing up late, you're not interested, you're not motivated, they're going to call Manpower and say, we need another associate. This person's Excel skills weren't as great, but you need to really sell your skills and your talent. And we have a wonderful pool of talented folks, and folks are getting demotivated because they can't find something. There's work here. There's definitely work in the area. You just need to, start somewhere else.
I want to just say that don't go on the computer, folks. Go and see Nitsa and sit down with her, because I think that's important. I think what they get out of talking to you in your office, and if they listen, I think they're going to be successful.
Absolutely, and we spend some time in looking at their resumes, looking at their history, and we're honest. What have you been doing when you go on the interviews? Let's talk about that. And it's tough. I have not been in an interview in 15 years, so I would probably sit at CareerLink and absorb all that information, because it is a challenge, and folks need to be open. I think most of the folks that come to our office are sincere in their search, but they're just sitting at home, sending out resumes. And you do need to knock on a door, hit the pavement every day, not just on Monday. Because by the end of the week, our traffic stops. And what happened? Where are the folks?
You also, do you work with universities in
Absolutely.
Northampton as well, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, in November, ESU's Innovation Center is putting together a wonderful presentation for their students, and they asked me to attend, and they're going to have a panel of employers to help the university graduates find work, because my son just graduated from college, and he graduated from Penn State, and he has a job, but he's not in his career. So there are different avenues that they can take to start getting in the workflow.
In short time I've been listening to you and talking to you, I'd always say to myself, I'm saying, maybe we should do another one, and do one with John Casella and you, because I could see the mix, and to really. So if you don't mind, in the near future, I'd love to be able to do another show with you and CareerLink, because I think you
we are partners. We are partners. Absolutely partners.
Right?
If I can't help someone, I send them their way. If an employer calls me and I'm unable to help them because of the scope that they're looking for, I send them to CareerLink. If I have job openings, I send them to CareerLink first. They go to ESU, Northampton. We're partners, because we have to work together. It's a small town, and we're working with the same group of folks. So what can we do to improve the situation?
Contact information. I want to contact Manpower. What do I do?
Sure. You could visit us at manpowerjobs.com, or you could visit us in person. We're right in Tannersville, right across from the Friendly's restaurant. Easy to find us, right on 611. And our phone number is 570-619-8090. And we're always there to serve our community.
It's always a pleasure. We grew up in the Bronx together, so I guess.
Absolutely.
And we end up here, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Nitsa. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
And we're going to do this again, because I know this wasn't enough time. I'd love to see another show and mix it in with John and really get that information out, what's available.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've been watching Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Mario Scavello of the 176th District in Monroe County. If you have any questions on the show that you've just seen, or any state-related matter, please contact my office. The address and phone numbers will be on in a moment. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching. See you next time on Legislative Report.